Okay, so far we know 12 major chords, 12 minor chords, and 12 augmented chords. Now we're going to take up diminished triads. Remember, a triad is a 3-note chord. There are 4-note chords and 5-note chords and so on, but we're just focusing on 3-note chords right now called triads. So a diminished triad is made out of the root, a flat third, and a flat fifth. Okay, so you just take a major chord and lower the third and the fifth a half step. Okay, so this is C major, that's C diminished. Okay, now what's the difference between a minor and a diminished? Well, a minor just has a flat third, doesn't it? But a diminished has both a flat third and a flat fifth, so both of them are lowered a half step. Whereas an augmented has a raised fifth. Okay, so there's 4 basic kinds of triads: major, minor, augmented, and diminished. All right, if this is C diminished, and it is, let's go down to F. What would F diminished be? Well, we'd lower the third a half step from A flat, excuse me, and we'd lower the fifth a half step from C to what? C flat. There's no black key to the left of C, so we have to call it, we have to use that, looks like B, but we got to call it C flat. Okay, so this is F major, that's F diminished. Here's G major, where's G diminished? Right, lower the third and lower the fifth a half step, so that's G diminished. Here's D major, so D diminished, we would lower the F sharp to F natural and lower the A to A flat, so that's D diminished. Here's E major, lower the third, lower the fifth, and we have E diminished. Here's A major, lower the third, lower the fifth, A diminished. Here's D flat major. We lower the third a half step. We have to, well, there's no black key to the left of F, so we have to use that white key that we would normally call E, but here we're going to call it what? Right, F flat. And then we lower the A flat a half a step, and we'd have to call that note, that white key that we normally call G, we'd have to call it what? A double flat, because A is already flat, so we have to double flat. So that's D flat diminished. Here's E flat major. If we lower the third half step and the fifth a half step from B flat to B double flat, that's E flat diminished. There's A flat major. We lower the third half step to C flat, and we lower the fifth half step from E flat to E double flat. That's A flat diminished. That's G flat major, isn't it? All black keys. Now if we lower the third half step, we're lowering B flat to B double flat, and we're lowering D flat to D double flat. So even though those 2 white keys look like A and C, they're really B double flat and D double flat, aren't they? Now B diminished is interesting because it's the only diminished triad that's all white, because we're lowering the third a half step and the fifth a half step. So B diminished is all white, and it's the only diminished chord that is all white. And there's B flat major, so if we lower the third half step from B to B flat, D to D flat, and the fifth from F to F flat, that's D flat diminished. Okay? So we've been through the 12 major chords, 12 minor chords, 12 augmented chords, and 12 diminished chords. So let's take them all now. That'll be 48 chords, won't it? So I'm going to play major, minor, diminished, and augmented on each key. Okay? So C major, minor, diminished, augmented. F major, minor, diminished, augmented. G major, G minor, G diminished, G augmented. D major, D minor, D diminished, D augmented. E major, E minor, E diminished, E augmented. A major, A minor, A diminished, A augmented. D flat major, D flat minor, D flat diminished, D flat augmented. E flat major, E flat minor, E flat diminished, E flat augmented. A flat major, A flat minor, A flat diminished, A flat augmented. G flat major, G flat minor, G flat diminished, and G flat augmented. B major, B minor, B diminished, and B augmented. B flat major, minor, diminished, and augmented. Okay, we've been through 48 chords, major, minor, diminished, augmented. Okay, and next time we'll take inversions of those chords, and then we'll get to extensions of those chords, adding extra notes like 6ths and 7ths and so on. Okay, so we'll see you in the next episode.